This is an episode not to be missed. We talked with Nof about many things, starting from high school to her engineering studies in the University of Jordan, her first work experience as a structural engineer, and then the shift towards NGO or development projects, the motivation and the drive behind going to pursue a master program in Germany, the DAAD scholarship and how to prepare for it, and then her experience with the master program and working in parallel of studying in Germany. How was life after graduation and her experience so far with the PhD? Actually, Nof shared with us many tips, advice, and genuine situations that we hope are inspiring and motivating for many of you. If you like the episode, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to leave us a comment on how did you find the episode. Nof, thank you for being with us today. I'm so grateful that we are kicking off this English series of I.Talks with you and to have you on To Open Doors. I've been looking forward to this since 2 years. I wanted to share this with people with us today and also the person who are going to see the video on YouTube. Actually, Nof was one of the first 3 persons with whom I shared the concept behind To Open Doors. I remember I visited her in Karlsruhe in June 2023. I showed her a video that was never published, and we talked about the concept, the goal behind, and everything. So it's like very supportive to me. I wouldn't forget this moment. So again, I'm so happy that you're with us today. The first question, Nof, so that also very young people can relate to your story and can find themselves with us in this episode, is the period in high school. So during high school, did you have a clear career plan on or a clear idea on what you wanted to study after the high school diploma in Jordan?
First, let me go back to the story and
Okay.
just like I was very proud of you. I was like supportive because it was a great idea, and I can see that it's a great idea, and I think you can touch it from a lot of people's comments. And I'm so glad of you that you took it actually and you did it. And I know like it's very hard to go from idea to actually doing the thing, so. Yeah, I'm not only supportive, but like your idea was actually amazing. So
Okay.
that's very nice to also see. So high school, if I had a clear career plan, I don't think so. No. First thing when I decided which university to go to, there was 2 options. So German Jordanian University or the Jordan University. And I remember my parents really wanted me to go to the German Jordanian University. And I was like, no, I don't want to because I don't want to live outside of Jordan. I want to stay home and I want to stay and work in Jordan.
Okay.
So I never expected that I would leave. But I always knew that I wanted to study civil engineering.
Mm.
So that's something that I always wanted and I knew that I want to do. So maybe like the major was clear,
Mhm.
but what is after the major was never clear. And I think it's part of like in our schools, like we in my school at least, we didn't have like a career day where you can meet people from other professions who can present to you what they actually did.
Mm.
For me, it was always my aunt who was always like telling me about her work experience, and that's how civil engineering stuck into my head.
Okay.
No, it wasn't like I didn't have a very clear idea of what career I want to do.
Okay. So the choice of civil engineering was influenced by a family member. You got inspired by your aunt, and that's why you choose this. Did you regret choosing civil engineering?
Not at all.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. Like now I'm not working as a, like I'm not practicing as a civil engineer, but I feel like the engineering aspect, like of like how to think analytically, how to, like it influenced all my decisions later
Mhm.
on. So no, I never regret studying civil engineering.
Yeah, that's also many guests shared with us that came to this show that
engineering taught them how to have analytical thinking, how to make decisions based on facts, based on some analysis. So definitely, it's a very good experience. And then after graduation, you started working as a structural engineering. Could you walk us through this first work experience? Because I know many young people are a bit scared of this jobless period and how they can find opportunity, especially the first one, since we don't have experience, but we have to start working to have experience. So, how was this your first walk to this professional world?
Yeah, so I got an internship in an engineering company. It was called Dar Al Imran, and I was blessed to have a supervisor that until now, like I always recall him in all, like all to all my, like to everyone I meet of how a good supervisor is.
Wow.
فعنجد I'm very very blessed to have worked there. It was a 6 months internship, and after 3 months I left. So I decided to cut it halfway. The thing is that like I worked as a structural engineer, like structural engineering intern. And it was nice. It was very, very nice. The people also in the company were very friendly, and the company was really good. The type of projects were amazing. And the kind of exposure that you could face is also like very good. But it wasn't for me. I couldn't just stay and like work on a software and design and just like do my own thing and then meet with my supervisor and that's it.
Mm.
So we had a lot of talks, me and my supervisor. And one day he told me that no, like to be honest, like your personality fits in the NGO sector, in the non-governmental sector. And I was like, what? What is that? No idea. Like, what's NGO? And he told me that, like, he told me about like the type of work that they do, the type of activities that they do, and the kind of exposure that I would
Mm.
face. And it hit, like it stuck. Okay, yeah, NGO. Let me look what's out there. And from that, I knew that I want to go to the NGO sector, but my second work experience was not in the NGO sector.
Mm.
Um, fa, like I think, yeah, like doing that internship like also meant a lot
Mm.
to how my career path ended.
That's huge because one feedback from this supervisor, sorry, changes the whole career plan, like switching
Yeah,
from engineering to NGO.
yeah.
It was like
And
that.
it was based on my personality and not on my
Yeah,
skills.
yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, that's what I really admire him for,
Mm.
because I was doing a good job. And
Mm.
like for him, I was doing what he wants me, like what he, as a supervisor, what he wants his co-workers to do.
Mm.
So I was doing my job, and he liked the kind of work that I do.
Mm.
But his feedback was based on my personality and not on my skills.
Okay.
And that's why I'm very grateful also for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. That's clear. So you started this work experience in this NGO field, let's say, and you spent there 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. Like
But
how
before
was?
we go, yeah, before we go to that, let's
Yeah.
also go back to your point of saying, how do you get into a sector where you don't have experience
Yeah.
and they need you to have experience? So it was not an easy process also. So I couldn't actually go to the NGO sector right away. I had to work in a bank in an engineering department for 1 year.
Okay.
And like in that department, it was more like management role. It was not technical. But during that time, it's where I switched to the NGO sector, and
Mm.
it was not like right away. I contacted many civil engineers on LinkedIn that work in that sector, and I was just sending them. I am also an engineer. I really want to work in the NGO sector. Please, can you tell me like what can I do? What should I do? Where should I look?
Mm.
And yeah, like it took me a year to get
Mm.
into the sector.
Yeah. So reaching out to people from the same sector, that was
Yeah.
the helpful the entry point to this new sector. Very good. Now, while listening to you, you said that the first work experience was in a bank on managerial stuff, not technical. You weren't missing the technical aspect from 5 years of civil engineering.
No, I was not missing the technical part, but I was also not happy. Like it was like the scope of the work that we did was very, very limited. So it was like it got into like few months, it got into the routine aspects, like of going into the branches, making sure that all the plans are up to plan. So there was nothing new, and but I didn't miss the technical
Okay.
aspects. No.
Yeah. And the differences between working with those managerial aspects in the bank and then the NGO work. Me also, I didn't know about it until now that I came back to Morocco and I'm discovering what does it mean to work on development projects and stuff like this. The nature of tasks, the nature of skills that you need, how they changed from the work you were doing in the bank and what you were doing also on this humanitarian and development project.
So, like I was almost about to leave my job in the bank because I was like fed up. Okay. And my dad was always telling me, like, no, you always have to make something out of where you are. You always have to find something. Like, of course, like keep an eye on where you're going next. But since you are here, try to make the most out of it. And I recall like one day we were like I was with my dad and I was like, no, it's enough. I can't anymore. There is no way that I'm staying here. And then I received the email from like the NGO that I worked at. And I was like, okay, I have an interview next week.
Wow.
And of course, the sector was very different. Like it was on wash sector. I don't know anything about it. And then I started like preparing for there was a test and then there's an interview. So the first it was the test. And you know me, I'm nerd, so we can get very prepared for the test. So like I studied very hard for it, like whatever they would do, like what kind of things they might ask, and I did good in the interview. Sorry, in the test. But then the interview was 2 days after, and I did so bad.
Wow.
I did so bad. Like I was asked about questions that if you are not on the field, you can't answer. And like I remember, I recall that day that I did really, really bad in the interview. And it was like the manager, and it was like one HR, I think, and then the supervisor of the department. So the line manager, HR, and supervisor, and the line manager was asking me a lot of technical questions that I didn't know anything about. And then it was like time over, the interview is finished. And then I stood up and I was like, I know that I did bad. And I know I did really bad in this interview. But if you only give me a chance, I know that I'm going, like, like one of the traits that I like about myself is that I'm a quick learner. If I put something in my head, like I'm gonna do it. So I'm like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I did really bad in this interview. Like I couldn't answer most of the questions, but it's not because of ignorance or because of like it's really simply because of lack of experience. But if you give me the chance, I'm going to like prove it to you that you did not like it was not a wrong choice.
Yeah.
And luckily, I got the job.
Wow.
Yeah.
It takes, I think it took you courage and bravery to stand out and to say that I did wrong, because this is,
Yeah.
I never heard someone who did it during the interview.
Yeah.
And that's amazing from you. And another thing, for people who are listening to us and maybe they can learn from it, it's okay to do bad during an interview. It doesn't mean that you failed or you're not going to get the job, because me too, I had similar experience with this. Just try your best and try until the last minute of the interview. And now we are learning from you that even you can redirect the interview to your benefit. But then, Nof, when you ask them that I did well, what did you change so that you convince them that you are the right candidate?
So the thing is that I think like I talked about it with my line manager, and I was like, yeah, I did really bad. And he was like, yeah, you did really bad in the interview. And at first he was like, you did really good in the exam. Like you were one of the top marks in the exam. And then the second part was like, I don't know, I think maybe it touched him that it was like, or touched the the group that were deciding on who go to next, who are gonna be selected,
Mm.
that I was honest. Like I was like, yeah, I didn't answer because I don't have experience.
Mm.
But it doesn't mean like I'm really like it shows. I think maybe they felt the passionate side that I really want to do it, and it was really like that was the reason because I was really willing to give it my like my all because
Mm.
I know like I don't enjoy my job at the bank,
Mm.
and this is something that 1 year ago it stuck in my head that I will do well in an NGO sector.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's how it happened.
And that's why we wrote in the title of our I.Talk is a journey of purpose and perseverance. And that's really it's showing the perseverance you had. Amazing. And then you started working with this NGO. You spent there a long time. What were the challenges and also the good things that you got from this experience with this specific sector?
So I think like I always also say it, and I until now I talk to my my old supervisor
Mm.
saying that this job ruined me because like that was one of the jobs that I was so happy during that experience. Like I was one of those few people, like every day they are like excited to go to work the next day. It was never like, I never felt like, oh no, I don't want to go to work. Why? Because at first, like that NGO was so it was like we were not a lot of people, so there's room for you to take like to take more challenges and to show up and to do more if you want. If you want, they can give you more and you can show up and they can depend on you even if you are like still young in experience.
Mm.
So I learned a lot.
Mm.
I started as a project assistant for the first 6 months, then officer for the next 6 months, and then manager for like 6 months after. So in 1 year and a half, I jumped to three positions,
Mm.
and I was very very happy. Like really, I why? Because it was very challenging. It was very impactful. You can actually feel like the impact of your work.
Mm.
And like also I was lucky to be surrounded by so many great colleagues.
Mm. Mm. People might ask, she was enjoying this experience and she never thought about going to the German Jordanian University.
Yeah.
And then what was the turning point for you to leave Germany, sorry, to leave Jordan and to go to Germany?
Yeah. I remember that, okay, I always wanted to do masters.
Okay.
Okay. And I was like, okay, I want to do masters in a country where I don't need to pay. Like it's enough. You know, our parents did their job. Now it's on us to do our jobs. So that's why it stuck to me about like I can tell more about it later. Like I picked Germany.
Mm.
And I went to my supervisor and I'm like, okay, now I'm very happy. I'm learning a lot, but I'm in a position, like I got the managerial position, but I know that I'm lacking like more strength in the content part. So I knew that it's time for a master's.
Okay.
And it's gonna mean that I'm gonna stop now. And it's always like for me, I always want to go back to the sector, but I knew at that time that it's time to stop and learn more so
Mm.
that you can be a better manager, like in a better position, and you can offer more.
Mm.
And at that time, my supervisor were like, "No, if you want to go out, we want to send you to Turkey, and we want you to be like there." And but I was like my decision was already made. I want to do my master's.
Okay.
Maybe it would have turned out in a different way. I don't know,
Mm.
but I never regret. Like it's we still have time to figure out if it was a good or a bad choice.
Yeah. But then maybe we can argue for the choice of Germany because I assume people in Jordan think about the USA or maybe the UK since the
Yeah.
relationship with them. But why you picked up Germany specifically to do the master? Maybe because of the free education in Germany?
Because there was a scholarship. So I went, like one day I saw that there was like a session where different universities are, I think it was like mostly European universities that they are presenting like their programs. And I went there, and there was like one booth for DAAD.
Okay.
And they were like, oh, like we have scholarships, we provide scholarships, we provide different programs and so on. And they were like asking us what we do. And I said, I work in the wash sector. And she's like, we have the best master program. It's integrated water resources management. And it's fully paid, and it's la 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 la. And I took that brochure, and this is how I knew about the scholarship.
So you didn't have friends that went to Germany before, or someone
No,
who did it before? Ah, okay.
no.
And this fair of, or this presentation of EU universities, where was it? Like in your university, in the University of Jordan, or somewhere
No, it was actually it was in a hotel, like
hotel?
in a hotel in Jordan, like it was a fair. And I actually don't even remember how I knew about it, but I was like, okay, let's go and check. I wanted to do my master's,
Mm.
and this is how
How you got the idea? Okay,
yeah.
perfect. And then you started applying for the AD scholarship. Uh, if someone listening to us today and want to do the same, to apply for that scholarship, what would be your advice to her or to him in this regard, so that they can really make an attractive or a strong application, and they can get the chance also to go for a funded master?
Yeah. First, I would say I was one that was rejected the first time
Ah, cool.
to
This
the
is
same
the first time that
program.
I know.
Yeah.
Good to know.
So don't lose hope. Like I got rejected because I mean I don't know why, but I one of the things that I didn't meet was the 2 years of experience
Mm,
in the water sector. I had at that time 1 year and almost a half
mm,
in the water sector, but I actually don't know why I got rejected. It could be not that reason. Maybe my application was not good.
mm,
But then I applied again, and like just like what kind of advice I would say, like try to see the requirements, and maybe like really work on your motivation letter. But I really don't know,
mm,
like from the perspective of the university, what stand out, like
mm,
what kind of things stood out.
mm.
So
And do you remember what scared you during that time about the idea of going abroad? Like, just to recall those feelings and those challenges, and maybe we can say something about those moments to people who are scared about the same step, maybe? Like going abroad, studying abroad might be challenging. It is. I remember myself, it was like a huge idea, which I do like, but it scared me somehow because it's a new environment. We don't know people, and Germans are not Moroccans, and the lifestyle is challenging. Was it the case also for you, or you were so confident and you really want to do it, and whatever it takes, I'm going there?
um, I don't know, like me, Safa. Yeah, like for me, it's very easy to switch environments
Mm,
and
mm,
to get used to like
mm.
to a new environment, and to get like very fascinated by everything happening new, like by all the things that are new to me, and like I might like I might forget what the comfort zone that I had in Jordan, or like the feelings that I had close to my
Mm,
family, that I
mm,
might forget that because I'm so excited. And like ask me now and I will tell you, of course it's hard, like after I settled here, because I know like how much you miss your family. But at the time of transition, I was very excited that I was like more excited of what is happening or what is gonna happen than what I'm missing.
Yeah, yeah, I can agree with that. Um, when we talk about Germany, people think the first thing about the German language. And I know that the scholarship offers you a preparation course before coming to Germany. This is not the question. The question is, do you think that was sufficient, or do you recommend people to invest more on their German language before going to Germany, or was it sufficient and then they will do the job or the homework once they are there during the master program?
I think if you have, like, every person is different. And like, I feel like every person has different capacity and different persistence and, consistency. So if you can learn, and if you can, like, if you know that Germany is a place where you want to go, of course, I would advise you to do whatever you can to learn German before you go. Because if you have German, if you have, like, if you will get like 10 chances, and if you don't have German, you might have one or two. And I would say, like, if you have the ability to do it and to really be persistent, of course do it. Of course, learn German before.
I use the same example. I said out of 10, if you are just speaking English, you will get 2 out of 10. But the other one who are speaking German, they can get the 8 opportunities. I use the same example.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about the German language, the application process. We will not go through it because they can document this, and I think there are many videos for that. You came to Germany in 2019. We started together the master program. During those 2 years, what were the challenges? If we can go back enough to this period, what would you do differently? Or yeah, is there something that you wish you could do it differently during those? I'm talking just about the 2 years of the master program.
Feel like I would maybe say that I could have worked before, like, that I started looking for a job when I was like almost starting my master thesis. So it would maybe be better if I started before, like started looking for student jobs and getting more experience. I would maybe have changed that. But other than that, there's nothing that's struck my mind. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And talking really about those job opportunities, because that was a challenge for me. And now we are trying to make it a bit easier for people who are going to Germany. What are the tips or advice for people first, let's make it sure we really advise people to work in parallel of their studies. Even if you are a scholarship holder, that will make your CV look attractive, that will enable you to learn a lot of things. So it's good to start working while studying. How they can do this, especially people from Jordan or all people from the Middle East, that would be very helpful.
I think for people like, at least for me, who don't speak German, who doesn't speak German, I felt like focusing on heavy positions. That was really, really useful. Like, make use of the fact that that you are still a student and you can work as a student assistant, and that's a really good thing. In your university, in your department, you can ask also your own professors if they have something, if they have any ongoing projects. So start from your own first network that you have. Also make use of the guest lecturers that come and give classes, who are working in an outside, like in another institute outside or in another company outside, because that was like my first way to get a project, like a position, a job. So there was one guest lecture. He gave a lecture, and I really liked it. And I just approached him that I am this. I attended your course. It was very interesting. Do you have something? I can do internship and I can do a student position. And they're always happy to support interns and students. So, like, that's the first way of you trying to slowly build your network.
Yeah. That's true. Now, what if you are reflecting on those 2 years, how they shaped your personality and your career plan? Because we started from Nof in high school, and now after getting the master that you dreamed about when you were back in Jordan, how this master experience shaped or changed a lot of your perception of your skill set of before coming to Germany.
I feel like one thing like now just that comes to my mind is the fact that I felt being in Europe, like being in Germany and then Germany, Europe, being there means that there are so many opportunities.
True.
Really, there are so many, so many. So, and this is something that I'm kind of trying to like put limits to myself, like on how, how like I'm always everywhere, So, like don't limit yourself to where you are, like where, like the things that are around you or what like. I know that I did my master's my master thesis in the Netherlands, and I approached a company in the Netherlands, and like I feel like this is something that's changed in me. Like I'm now more like let's say a risk taker, that I would really go beyond what I have and try to like, because there are so many things, there are so many opportunities out there. Of course, not all you can easily get. You can't easily get everything, but it made me like, I think this is something that has changed. I want to like try different things. I want to try this and try this and try that. So this is something that changed during those 2 years.
Yeah. True. I totally agree. The amount of opportunities that Europe and Germany offer to people there, especially motivated, ambitious people, they really can get a lot of benefit out of it. You have just to try, as you said, and to take the risk. We graduated. We had the same. We graduated around the same time. You defended in this early December 2021, and I defended late December. After that experience of master program, how did you deal with this period of uncertainty after graduation, especially in a foreign country? And how were you clear about what's next? That you knew you wanted to do a PhD, or the PhD came later on? Like, could you navigate us through this period of time after graduation, and then what came next after?
So after graduating from masters, I knew that I can't start PhD right away. And then luckily, like I feel, because it's also very hard, like, and everyone like who might listen to this like need to understand that it's not an easy thing to find a job right after your masters, especially if you don't have German. So please work on your German if you can. But luckily, I was doing 2 student job positions in 2 institutes. One institute that was focused on water, and there was another institute that was more focused on like, it was more like policy and political science and so on. And I was doing student positions in both. And before I graduated, I started those conversations with my supervisors. I was like, yeah, I'm going to graduate in 3 months. And I really like the company and I like what I'm doing. But if like, I played the card of like, for us, it's uncertain. We need a job to have the visa. So if they want me, they need to act fast. So that was like my approach to them, and with time and being very, very clear that it's not like I'm really happy with what I'm doing. I really enjoy it. But if I want to stay, like, we need a job, we need a position, and we need it this much. We need it for 1 year, for 2 years. We need it 100%. We need it, being very clear on what kind of like requirements are asked from us as foreigners in order to be given the blue card or the permit.
Yeah.
So I did this with both of the companies, and I got the job offer from both.
Okay.
I decided to go with the one that was new for me, like with Fraunhofer, and not with the Water Institute. Like this is how I moved into the second part. Research. I worked in research mainly because like as foreigners with no German expertise, it's what's easily done.
Yeah, true.
So like that's how I went into research for the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to acknowledge something that I really appreciated, and now I remember this point about your personality or your character, is that you really speak up about your need and you
Yeah.
make it very clear to people, because we say it already, that's the advantage of being abroad and with Europeans, is that you can easily speak up about what you want, and then it's up to them if they can offer something suitable to you, perfect. Otherwise, you at least you have an answer and you can move on and build the next decision based on that. So that's a very good point. I'm happy that I remembered this. Um, do you now, after those two that you choose, you choose this other in Fraunhofer, you started working with them, and then the idea of you already explained it very well. You wanted to take some time before jumping to the PhD, and I think that's a very wise decision. After getting the master, to see really if that's what you want and if you are ready for it, although you might never feel ready for something, but at least you take some time. So how the idea or the decision to start a PhD came, and how it is going so far?
So how, like in our institute at Fraunhofer, they really give a lot of support for researchers, for early career researchers who want to do their PhD.
Okay.
So it was always a question, but they don't like, it's not enforced. If you want to do it, you want to do it, but if not, it's okay. But you have this flexibility that if you decided to do it, then they give you like time, they give you resources, like support. So that was one thing that at least helped me to make the decision. The second thing was that I missed working in the water sector. So like all the projects that I'm doing now were more like we're not very close to the sector that I like. And I missed that connection. So I was like, okay, then I will do a PhD in a topic that I like,
Okay.
and see and focus on what kind of skills that I'm gonna get from those 4 years of PhD.
Okay. So to keep being connected with the people in the sector and to keep learning from that.
Yeah.
I remember you joined the World Water Week 2024 last year as part of the Young Scientific Program Committee. I found it very interesting opportunity and chance for many people, especially in the water sector. How did you get to this place, or how did you get this opportunity, and how was it? How what you learned from this experience, and like the takeaways?
Yeah, so like this is mainly interesting for anyone who's like a water professional or wants to work in the sector. I knew about it from LinkedIn. They posted that they are looking for a young scientific program committee members, and I applied. They asked for a cover letter, mainly like in which stream do you see yourself and why you should be selected. And yeah, I got the approval, and it was a great chance. It was
Oh,
really, really very, very nice. Like it's not a research-based conference where like many researchers present their work. It's more like everything. You find researchers, you also find like NGOs, you find like the World Bank presenting their type of work. So it's very interesting to anyone who's like in the water sector. And I really highly recommend it. So anyone who's under 35 like can apply and should apply. It's very good.
okay. And just for people to make it clear for people, is 1 week of conference that you are hosting some talks or stuff like this, or?
No, it's so what it is that there is in the World Water Week there are many sessions that can happen. Like any person can apply, and if they got approved, they can present a session. But there is a scientific program committee which is like run or like by CV. like by the institute. And for them, they have like clear focus on what you want to present. Like for example, this year it's about water and climate. So like we have those sessions, and then you work with other scientific program committee members, like with two more, and then the three of us have to prepare three sessions, and that's it. Like we have to moderate and prepare three sessions.
Yes.
And you, as a young scientific program committee, you work with like different partners, you organize, you plan. You could also take a role inside the session. You could be moderating, you could be doing a speed talk. So yeah, but you're only responsible about three.
How long did it take?
We started January, and then we started preparing for the sessions from January, and then on August it was the water week.
Almost 1 year or 8 months. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. We will leave the questions till the end so that we can take all of them at once.
Yeah.
I wanted to take the opportunity, since you are doing a PhD, and I know many Jordanian and not Jordanian people are interested in doing that. PhD is a challenging experience, and different people struggle with different aspects. People might struggle with writing, people might struggle with reading because you have to read a lot of articles. People might struggle with presenting their work and to speak up about their stuff so that they can have some exposure because they need it. Although it's a very scientific and nerdy word, still you need to be exposed to the scientific community. From your experience, what are so far the most challenging aspects, and what are your techniques or tips on how to deal with them? And I remember also your master thesis was a very nice experience that you learned, and we learned from it so much. So I assume you are doing the same reflection on what's going with the PhD. If you can share some experiences and some tips for PhD students who might be listening to us today.
So the thing is that I am in a lucky position that I selected my supervisor. So I am doing an external PhD, meaning that I don't need to go to the university. I don't need to like be employed by the university. So I am doing it on my extra or my personal time. And so for people who are doing that, you really need to be very selective of who you choose, as since you have the chance, be very selective of who you choose as your supervisor. And in my case, I'm very, very happy because I really feel that my supervisor is very present, is very active, is interested in the work that I'm doing. So we're having like bi-weekly discussions, bi-weekly meetings, which is very rare when you talk with other PhD students. And second, at least for me, what helps me to keep going, because doing a PhD is not very easy, especially when you start writing papers and when you start like building like the full profile of your topic.
Yeah.
Keep focused on what do you want out of this PhD. Like for me, it's like I want certain things from this PhD, and I need to stay focused. Like those are the things those, for example, are the skills that I want to learn. This is the new skill that I want to learn during my PhD. It's not only like I want to be expert in the topic, but I want to learn something new. And this is for me what keeps me going, because it's very hard. Like it's especially like when you're doing it as an external supervisor, like why would you add more load to yourself? But when you focus on what is your bigger picture out of this, then it helps you to get going.
Okay, yeah. That's true. So selecting the supervisors and keeping track with the topic and the progress with the frequent meetings, that's very helpful. Now that you've tried different aspects, you started with engineering, then moved to the managerial stuffs, and then the NGO sector, and then scientific research, and what you are doing now. How do you think changing and trying different aspects helped you to be more confident about what you want now, or you are still trying to find out what's next for Nof, or what is the career plan that you're aiming for?
since I was very happy in the NGO sector, I know that I want to come back.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I want to come back to the NGO sector. This is something that I know. But I really now, I don't see myself as a researcher for a very long time. But there are so many skills that you also learn as a researcher.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, maybe I'm experiencing. I'm for now, I'm gonna experience more with research, at least for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
And let's see what goes next.
Definitely. And every experience is adding something beautiful to either to your CV and to your personality. That's true. I will stay in the same logic of going through all your career plan. Can you share with us what you consider the main milestones that really shaped your career plan and changed a lot from the perspective you're having? Is it your travel to Germany or the switch from engineering to what was the really turning point that you considered that's the change maker of your career?
Definitely the conversation that I had with my supervisor.
Yeah.
Definitely, this is one of the milestones. Definitely moving to the NGO sector and knowing that how much I enjoy it. So this was a clear career stone. Second, going to Germany and doing stuff differently. Because I did my bachelor in Jordan. We had a certain way of doing our tasks, our reports, and then I came to Germany and then I met with other people who think in a different way, who do their homeworks and their reports in a different way. And I also learned a lot from them. So this is also I feel it's if I have not gone to Germany, I wouldn't have learned how to do that. So
Nof, can we explain a bit this different way to people listening to us? Because they might be thinking, what is this different way that we have in Jordan, I assume in Morocco, and the Europeans or Germans have? Can you describe this different way?
Yeah, I think in Jordan, the way that we usually how we are tested for our abilities is mainly memorizing, more.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of exercises and then do the same comes, it's not more. You don't go deeper into why or how, you don't question much. And then, Oscar, how he's very structured, how he's very organized. So I also learned from him, on how, he's Colombian and how their way is very different, is more creative, is more like a story, is it's not like A, B, C. It's not it's more like how A relates to B and then how C is relating to A and how you make a full story out of it. For example, that's one thing. And this is a different way, I think. I used to always memorize and then do the things. But then it helped me to be maybe more creative on how to approach the task or how to approach the report.
For people listening, they might ask, who is Oscar? Oscar is Nof's husband, and maybe we can host him also. He has very nice things to share with people. I think that would be very insightful. We take the questions in the chat, and then I will ask you a last question that we can wrap up. Okay, so we have 2 questions here. The first one is, thanks, Nof, for sharing your experience, and many thanks to you, Safa, for this amazing concept. Thank you. My questions for Nof is the following. This is very, very scientific way of asking. I have 2 PhD offers, one in the USA, University of Florida, and the other one in the Netherlands, Delft Institute. What are the criteria, in your opinion, that I should consider while choosing one of them?
So I first say congratulations.
Yes.
Yani, mashallah, you got 2 offers, so that's really good. You should be proud.
Yeah.
First, I would say the topic. I'm maybe if we assume that they are both similar, then this is easier for you. But if they are different, maybe try to focus on which one is more
Appealing?
It's more appealing to you. Second, like both are good universities. Like Delft is really good. I don't know much about University of Florida, but I think it's also very good.
Yeah.
Research in the US is also is really, really advanced. So I would say also like maybe I don't know if you have connections in both countries. Try to understand from like if you have connections in any of those universities to see how easy it is to get like a postdoc position or to continue in the university. Although it's not like a major factor because after you finish your PhD, also the doors are also open. You don't need to like stick where you are. So maybe the offer and then also the supervisor. I'm not sure if you also had a chance to talk with the supervisor. You can also ask them for a follow-up meeting and ask your questions. Like have like more, since you got the offer, have more like specific questions on like things that only your supervisor can answer you and see how you like how it would help you make your decision on which one is best.
Yeah, I can add one point besides what Nof shared because we hosted a doctor that he's now doing his postdoc in the USA, and one of things that he did before starting the PhD, he started doing research about the supervisor. He looked for his papers, the citations, his PhD students. He got in touch with them because for really the choice of supervisor is a big thing and you have to consider it carefully. So that might be also a helpful point while deciding about your supervisors. We have another question now from Mahid. I've heard that the 2/3 of DAAD scholarship holders go back to their home countries. Would you consider doing that? Spicy one.
Yeah. So I'm doing my PhD on Jordan. So I picked Jordan as my case study because it's always like you always want to give back, you know, to your home country. And maybe I wouldn't consider going back fully because like my husband is not Jordanian. He's gonna find it very hard to like to settle there. But I really would like to work on something in Jordan. And that's what I'm now trying to do, like have more connections in Jordan, try to do something in Jordan. So maybe like not fully going back home, but yeah, like trying to contribute.
Yeah. Especially that water-related topics are a hot topic in our semi-arid and arid areas, so that would be very beneficial. Last question from my side, Nope, maybe. What have I not asked you about today that you feel called to share? Maybe I skipped some aspect that you feel like are more helpful and insightful for people in Jordan or even for people from our Arabic countries, because that's why we are doing those kind of talks, so to inspire, to motivate, and to share the maximum out of our experience.
I think we covered many things, but I would really maybe just restate the point that really don't be afraid to contact people. Like to contact don't just add people on LinkedIn. Really like send them messages and send them clear requests. Because like, for example, now I receive like some messages where I don't know how to help, you know, the person who's sending me. So maybe like you need to be specific on what do you want that person to do for you, and also consider whether that person is in a place where they can do something for you, so that you don't waste your time contacting people who might not be able yet to help you, and just like be straightforward, be nice, show your passion about the topic, state what you can do, what you are doing, and just contact on LinkedIn, really, or emails. Don't underestimate the power of that.
Yeah. Don't be shy. We have this thing in our Arabic word that we are a bit shy and we don't want to show up and speak up because maybe we fear from criticism or judgment, but it's
At the
good
end of the
to
day, delete the conversation if you didn't like the reply. As
True.
if it never happened. You
Exactly.
know, that's a person that you never know.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
yeah.
It was a pleasure. It's always the case, you know. Our conversations are always a pure pleasure for me. I did enjoy it. I
Thank you,
hope the same
Mustafa.
for you, and I hope people also get some benefits out of it.
Yes, inshallah.
And the episode gonna be on YouTube, so people can see it and share it with their community. Thank you, Nof, and maybe we can have another one after, inshallah, graduating from the PhD and see what's new in your career plan.
Yeah, inshallah.
Habibi, it's always a pleasure.
All the best for you.
Thank you. You too.